welcome to day number 3 of the custom mail-in tournament. We will immediately start by introducing Old Sarge, Brian Oldford, Raw Sun God, and Soren. Let's see how each of these 4 do on this course. And as we begin, they're actually staying relatively side by side, but then Brian Oldford starts going a little bit faster than the rest. And around that turn he goes, and his lead is just getting bigger and bigger as he gets further down the track. And now everyone else is completely off camera, except for that moment right there. But look at this, he just seems to be getting further and further away from the competition, heads into the straightaway, and easily gets the first victory. And he finishes with a 15.86. Right now, Essa Khan, from day 2, holds the speed record with a 15.26. But at this point, we're seeing that finishing under 16 seconds is a little bit more promising than obviously if you don't. But now, Brian Oldford is in a much better position, probably breathing a sigh of relief right now after a great finish like that. And as the second race started, he did actually slow down just a tad and then accelerated out of nowhere. And now he's got the lead again. And so far, as he's gotten the lead, he doesn't give it back up. And he just seems to be getting faster as he progresses down the track, and he gets another easy victory. Although I will say, it looked like Old Sarge might have been a little bit close at that time, and Brian Oldford finished at 16 seconds even. It's not often you see someone finish right on the dot of a second mark. So while he did get a second victory, he was a little bit slower, and the other competitors were closing in on him just a little bit. And it looks like he doesn't want that to happen again, as he's already got a decent-sized lead. But look at this, Old Sarge is not too far behind him, actually. They go around the divisive split turns, and they get into the lane merger. Brian Oldford is still in the lead, but Old Sarge is a lot closer this time around. And now Brian Oldford, despite automatically moving on, seems to be getting slower with each race, because that does surprise me, actually, because he is seemingly moving faster from my view, but I guess he's actually going slower. I guess he gets those bursts of speed, but isn't able to maintain it, actually. And now 1 race left. Brian Oldford is already moving on. Old Sarge has the highest odds of joining him. And as long as he finishes in front of the other 2, he will be fine. Brian Oldford currently has a lead. Old Sarge is trying to close that gap. It's hard for them to do that when they're on opposite ends of the track, but as they get into the final merger, Brian Oldford is able to get the sweep, actually. And yeah, it looks like he actually did finish slower each time. And Raw Sun God got a DNF at the very end. And not too far from the finish line either. But it looks like they're still going to give him a point despite the fact that he did not finish. I guess at this point it doesn't necessarily matter, but still. So Brian Oldford is our latest sweeper. And now we have McNeil, Papa, Dusty Miles, and Variant Skunkwork. That is quite the unusual name, but if you want to stand out, sometimes that's what you gotta do. As we begin, Dusty Miles, a very popular racer around here, started off with a slight lead, then lost it and gained it back again. He's currently in contention with Skunk, who's not making it easy for Dusty Miles to hold on to that lead as he keeps getting closer and closer, ever so slightly. Around the final turn, down the hill, Dusty Miles still has that lead, and he gets the first victory, finishing with a 15.34. Now that is the kind of speed I was expecting from Brian. In fact, that's what it looked like he had. But according to the timer, Dusty Miles is a little bit quicker. Almost getting a new speed record, which Dusty Miles has been able to do before, for long periods of time no less. So let's see if he can do it here. Race number 2 begins. Dusty Miles and Skunk are taking off a little bit although Papa is trying to stay on par with them. In fact, he's doing relatively well with it, staying relatively even to where Skunk is, but Dusty Miles is taking this opportunity to get as much of a lead as he can before the last stretch of the track. And as he does so, no one is anywhere near him, and he gets another victory. Finishing with a 15.23, I believe. Double checking, yes, that is the fastest time we've had on this competition so far. I was just talking about how Dusty Miles has been able to get speed records before, and here it's no different. It wasn't by much, but every little bit helps. Now the question remains, will anybody be able to finish under 15 seconds throughout this entire competition? So now we have 2 races in the bag, 2 more to go with this group. And Dusty Miles gets an early lead, actually, with Skunk not too far behind and Papa not too far behind Skunk. But any lead you can get early on can really help you as you get further down the track. The Skunk has been able to keep up with Dusty Miles, but as Dusty gets the lead, he hasn't lost it. And a clean turn around that last curve, and he gets another victory. Let's see what time he got. 15.59, that is a little bit slower, and we had an interesting collision back there. And Skunk is actually going to get a DNF alongside McNeil. It looked like McNeil actually bumped into Skunk somewhere, causing him to spin out. Let's see what the replay shows. So Skunk actually went sideways for a moment and lost all his momentum because of it. And as McNeil approaches him, yeah, he actually just ran into Skunk from the back, and Skunk almost managed to finish because of it, but he did not have enough of a push to do so. But now it looks like Dusty Miles is already moving on. I'm not sure who's going to join him right now. I would have said Skunk, but after that DNF, it blew the door wide open for other opportunities. But Dusty Miles is looking to be another sweeper in today's video, and given how everything has been going so far, it looks like he's going to be able to do it, and he will, without any issue whatsoever. Skunk finishing in second, that may have saved him. We'll have to look at the tally in just a moment. Almost breaking the speed record again, no less. But Dusty Miles is our newest sweeper, and I think we may actually have a tiebreaker on our hands. Because it looked like Papa and Skunk both got 9. And that is exactly what happened. Skunk, with a second place finish, keeps his hopes alive, but he has to do a couple extra races alongside Papa. And if it works how it's been in the last few tournaments, they will race twice, and whoever gets the overall fastest time will be the winner. And right now, Skunk is doing everything he can to hold on to a lead. Especially after that DNF, you do not want a repeat of history in that case. But he is coasting along without much contention from Papa, and he gets that victory that he so desperately needed. Meanwhile, Papa finishes in second, at least a couple seconds behind him. And look at that, he's almost at the finish line, and only now does Papa show up. It's looking pretty good for Skunk right now. Let's see how they do in the second race. So far, Skunk has a slight edge on him, but it looked like Papa closed that gap already, and now he has the lead, but then Skunk immediately takes it back. But this is a little bit closer than the last race was. And now, as I mentioned that, Skunk is pulling away. He gets the higher but tighter turn, and now he has the inside lane as he goes into the lane merger and heads towards the finish line, and he gets another win, so I believe that means Skunk will be the one to move on alongside Dusty Miles to today's finals. A great fight by Papa, but they fell just short. So now with that tiebreaker sorted out, Dusty Miles and Skunk will be the one to move on. So now as we get into the finals, Old Sarge, Skunk, Brian Oldford, and Dusty Miles will race to see who moves on. The top 2 will progress. These are the 4 supposedly fastest racers of today's video. So let's see how they do when they go up against each other. Right now it is Dusty Miles who has the lead, and he is one of 2 racers here that has a sweep alongside Brian Oldford. These 2 are going after each other, so both of them have a chance to be our first undefeated racer right now. But Dusty Miles is the one to cross the finish line first, so he's the one who will keep his hopes alive, and he finishes with a new speed record of 15.19. I almost said 15.9. But 15.19, that is getting ever so closer to the 15-second mark. I believe it is possible, but they will have to have little to no obstacles in their way and staying off the walls as much as they can. This is looking pretty good for Dusty Miles already, as he's broken the speed record twice today already. Possibly even 3 times. But now he does have a good lead. Brian Oldford is further behind this time around, and he's currently in contention with Papa and Skunk. But Dusty Miles is leaving everybody in his dust, and he gets another win, while the other 3 are struggling to keep up with him. But Brian Oldford, despite no longer being undefeated or being able to get another sweep, he is in a much better position than the other 2. And Brian Oldford pulls another stunt again like he does at the beginning, where it seems like he starts off slow, and then at some point he just picks up the pace, but he still is unable to catch Dusty Miles going around the bend, and Dusty Miles is just keeping that gap wide open. He bounces off the walls just slightly, but he gets another victory, so he will be moving on. And Dusty Miles is just 1 victory away from being this tournament's first undefeated racer. And he is putting up consistently quick times, making it difficult for everybody else. And as the final race begins, he was alongside Brian and Skunk, but as they got to the first bend, he pulls away quite quickly, actually, and now everyone else is far behind. Dusty Miles would probably need to spin out or something to allow anyone to pass him, and he has not been doing that, and he is undefeated. And he finishes with a 15.02. He almost broke the 15-second mark. Now I am fully confident that it is possible. Undefeated racer, breaking the speed record several times, Dusty Miles, going forward into the grand finals, will be a fierce competitor. But he will be joined by Brian Oldford in the grand finals, alongside our previous winners. So let's see what happens next. Thank you all so much for watching. See you for day number 4.